I didn't do it.
Did I? All participants. Okay. All right. Okay. Can you try now? I can't find. Oh, yes, I can. Okay. So Tim and I have made some edits with this. Other county departments that have boards that they operate with have made edits to this. So what feedback do you guys have? Tracy, did I spell your name right?
Yes.
Okay. Good. Okay.
I don't know that we have anything else to add. This is just our annual resolution that kind of goes through any new appointments for responsibilities and roles, where I think typically in the past, previous boards had kind of taken a habit of sharing or shifting, reappointing folks to different boards. I think with as intentional as we are in trying to move certain projects and priorities forward, I don't know that we've done that as much in the last couple of years, but we've also decided that this is a good document to kind of remind everybody of some countywide needs, such as COOP planning or continuation of operation planning with the emergency management. And so we kind of are treating this as a living document year after year to add helpful roles to this for everyone's edification. Cool. Yeah, and we just go through line by line. Unless you propose a different process.
No, Tim and I made some changes to the chair and vice chair. Jeff, if you are good with that? Okay.
I'm good.
Okay. And then we've got our auditors listed, our department director of emergency management.
Can you scroll down on there, Tim? Thanks.
I think the only one that we can take out is build a generation because we don't have a board seat. We don't have a seat on their board. So I took that out.
Okay. I wonder, so we have the paper posted as our paper. Now I'm forgetting if we have, is it worth stating that most publications, like the first place of publication is our website rather than necessarily the front?
Right underneath that is that
window?
designated posting place.
There we go, okay, sorry.
So we call that out, that we'll post everything public there first.
But there are a number of things that you have to designate a newspaper circulation for.
Yeah. Okay. Other than that, I think we have Tim's done a good job of reaching out to staff for other committees, and I think we have all the committee members updated.
Yep, so on those boards, those terms that should now be vacant are highlighted and have vacant next to them. But that individual is still in that seat until somebody fills that vacancy. Same with planning commission, and we also have a few on the board of review.
So we had, weed control, this might be something to bring up at the Lake County Conservation District meeting tonight. We were in the process of hiring for that role, and one of the conservation district members was named specifically out of that, so we put, in the absence of having someone to name, we have the Lake County Conservation District
Okay.
listed as a rep. And I think we are still waiting for that IGA with Chafee and the weed control.
I signed it and had it recorded.
Oh, we did,
Yeah.
Okay.
Did that,
okay.
excuse me, this summer.
And we named
Yes.
Sarah, oh, I think we did name Sarah Hamilton, okay.
She should be, there's a weed.
Um,
Yeah, it was just on the screen. So maybe just next to the Lake County Conservation District, just put like Representative Sarah Hamilton.
we also
Right there.
have 5 vacancies on the E911 board, if anybody is interested.
Work session on that next week.
Okay,
From there, I think you guys will give direction to start the appointment process.
okay, cool.
And did we get official word from the tourism panel on they did their selection this morning?
Yeah, and then they're waiting till February for their,
Board terms to start?
now for the officer elections, which is relevant to this.
Do you know who took those 3 spots?
No,
Okay,
because they had a discussion today when we left about it. But all the terms are, the end dates are correct. So we can get that updated information from Adam.
that in there. I'm just gonna clean this up real quickly. Mineral belt is full. Right? Those are correct.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Lisa has resigned her seat.
And I have I know that I've been talking with Colleen about a potential candidate replacement, and we just need to do a professional services agreement for that. There
Okay.
doesn't have to be anything else official.
And then we can revise this once that comes into play yet. Okay.
Yeah, all of the, well, Bryce is not on there anymore, but there's,
Oh, that's right, we can just take that off. Can we just put vacant?
mhm. And then leave that as 2025.
Yeah, Bryce's term would have ended in 22, so the new term will end in 25.
Yeah.
Whoever takes that vacancy, right? And you're good with the Arkansas Basin Roundtable? You and Greg Teeter?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I do want Bryce to join me, but yes.
Should we add Bryce?
There has to be technically one
Okay.
voting member.
Can
I'm
we,
happy to add him as a proxy in the roundtable if that's.
can we designate you as the voting member and then Bryce below you? Or do you want to just do that internally?
Yeah,
That's your
we should
call.
just do that internally, because
Okay.
Greg Teeter is technically the municipal representative, and we are the county rep.
Okay, okay.
So that works. Again, we have to make that change under medical officer. So we have someone.
Can I change our work session time also to 11 AM on the second and fourth Tuesday?
To change that, I think we have been having them that long.
Have we? I mean, you
Well, I
could,
mean, we have them
it
more
doesn't
often
matter.
than every fourth Tuesday, second and fourth Tuesday, but.
do we have to put work sessions on there, Chris, or can we just take that out and call work, I mean,
No,
we
so
have
see,
work
those are-
sessions more
Yeah, I
regularly,
was gonna say, you don't have to
because that's a great point,
specifically set those,
yeah.
because they're
okay.
not decision-making meetings.
So work sessions and special meetings will be scheduled as necessary.
Yeah,
Up on water, I see it go by, there's a water advisory council or committee, are we required to have that? Or, I mean, if that's sort of defunct or at least on hold now, can we just take that off until we sort of revisit the need for that?
when I met with Bryce and Ann, Bryce wanted to keep this on here because he's ready to reconvene things and
Okay.
seat new members.
Okay, great.
So I think just to have it designated so it doesn't get lost in the
Yeah.
that we have it and that it's a thing.
Yeah.
It's good.
I agree. I think we need to, as we're building the water enterprise, the augmentation plan and all that stuff, I think,
Yeah.
kind of similar to other groups, we gotta figure out what the purpose and benefit and useful, goal is.
Cool.
So, yeah, I think we should keep.
If we do, Adam did do the updates, it's just in that comment right there.
Okay, I'll go down and do those. Does anybody have any other questions, comments on this?
I do not. I don't. No.
Right at the other.
So Elsa will end in 24.
If we know, Chris, if it's soon enough that we're gonna have a new medical officer,
We're not there yet to
Oh,
post them.
we're not
Yeah,
close.
Sorry.
Okay, I was just thinking if we bump this to next meeting, then we don't have to do it twice, but.
Go on, and if you've got everything else in place it up, and then we can just do it when the new medical director is
Okay.
chosen.
Okay. And I'm comfortable putting in those tourism panel board members.
Term ends February 24. Yeah.
Okay.
Can we just adopt this with pending final approval from Adam that this is correct?
I think he added that.
Well,
so.
and I took off like Carrie Malazi, right? So Ann Stanek replaced Carrie. Okay, so that I am doing that. Sarah Edwards will be off. For
What are these?
Elizabeth.
Are these, when it says 3-year terms, are those years correct?
So this should be Elsa Stoddard.
She's up above.
Elsa's here.
I have to take her off there. I think I need to put
Oh.
Elizabeth in show.
So she would be 2024, but are the other 3-year terms for 1925?
Yeah, I think if I recall from the conversation this morning, like most of them are 3-year terms, but one of these new slots is taking over
Rafa.
Rafa's.
Yeah, Rafa's is just an appointment for the rest of the term.
Okay, and then,
But everyone else, yeah. should
so
be
Elsa was on
25.
there.
Yeah.
That's Adam's comments.
There's too many.
There's too many. Oh,
So
Elsa will serve the remainder of Rafa's. Okay.
So I put her in there. So then this should be Elizabeth. 2025. Okay,
Lori Homer should be 2025, I think.
Yeah.
And Anne's should also be 2025.
25.
Yeah. Yeah, there should be 3 now
Okay,
appointed today
okay.
to 25, and 1 appointed today to fill out the 24.
Yeah, so I put Elsa where Rafa's name was. So Elsa will take the rest of Rafa's term through 24. Okay. Good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
Is the board right there?
yes.
Yeah,
Charlie Benny and Cameron Millard are up, or their terms are up and expired. We're not sure if Cameron's going to submit another letter of interest or not.
Okay.
But Anne has all of the advertisements out for those vacant board positions that affect the CPD.
Okay.
And then we can update those as those come in. When Tim and I talked to her this morning, we're aiming to get those done in the first quarter of 23, so that we don't carry those vacancies and have issues with the terms like we did before,
Yeah,
so that the terms stay on that.
okay. Yeah, that'd be good.
Is the highlight part accurate though, because it's showing the term expires 2025?
Maybe
So-
those are the
so-
new-
It's
Oh, those are the
vacant.
new ones.
So the new term will end in 2025, but Cameron is seated there because they're just vacant right now.
Oh, okay, so
Um,
you might want to, just for clarity, say, kind of like that it's a carryover, that they're serving until their successor.
Sure, do you want me
Or we
to?
could just put in 23. That might be clearer.
I mean,
Now it's vacant.
if their terms
Or
expire
22,
2022,
sorry, yeah.
that's why I was getting
Yeah, they
confused.
ended in December of 22.
I would do that just for clarity, and they serve until the successor is.
Sure, so change those back to 22?
I would.
Okay, I can do that. Okay. I can do that thing all of this. Okay. All right. Good.
Alrighty, yeah.
Any other questions? Anything else you need to? No? We're good. I have to take this really fast with my daughter.
Oh, sorry.
No?
I'm forgetting we're at 3 o'clock and it's not 11 o'clock in the morning. We're all.
Hello.
Hey, just while we're filling time, there's 1 vacant seat on the fire management board. That's not a county board, so I don't think we need to put it in here. But we have our rep to it.
This
It
is,
is a county rep, a city rep, and then a selected
right,
rep. So I don't think we need to say it because it's not us appointing that 3rd seat.
okay,
But just an FYI for the
okay,
room.
What was your,
That 3rd seat on the fire management board that's
Oh,
vacant, and it's not a county seat to fill, so we don't need to specify it here, but just for our collective information, that has been posted in the paper
Which one?
for the 3rd seat on the fire management board.
Oh, okay, okay,
oh, you know what I just forgot too?
sure.
Oh, no, we got it, okay, never mind.
Which one?
Nothing, all commissioners is, and maybe manager as proxy on Ski Cooper. And golf course.
Should we add that,
I think
the
that
manager
would
as
be
the
great.
proxy?
Or should that be,
Or can we do that separate? What do you want to do?
wherever you 3 go, I will go.
Or which one?
Can we just add that into the bottom of this resolution? Well, yeah, into the coop. That if commissioners are unable to attend a meeting, they may send the manager as their proxy.
So that, yeah, I was gonna say, yeah,
Cause then that could serve for like all of
all
those,
commissioners
Right,
or a
Or-
fellow commissioner and or county manager.
or county manager by proxy.
Okay,
Technically, they may object to that, but
I don't know how to say that, attend meetings or meetings of the boards they are designated to. Okay, how's that?
Great.
Good? All right. Okay. All right, well, if you guys are ready to approve this.
I'll move to approve, resolution 23-01, with discussed changes and amendments.
I'll second.
All right, any further discussion?
Just to reiterate again that we have some vacancies and we'll probably need to revisit this by the end of the first quarter to update.
Sure. All right. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Okay. So I'll finish this meeting and then hand it over to Commissioner Moses Chair for our next meeting, correct?
Sounds good. Thank you very much
You're
for
welcome.
your year.
Yeah.
As chair.
Okay. Moving on to item number 2, a proclamation of thanks to former County Clerk and Recorder Patty Berger. Go ahead, Jeff, you will take the lead on that.
I will reawaken my computer.
Sure.
I will remember my new password. So I'll just read the text of this resolution. Sorry, I don't have the resolution number.
2.
Or it's a
Oh,
proclamation.
Just a
Proclamation.
proclamation.
yeah.
yes. Okay, so do we number proclamations or we just
No.
do them?
I think
Sorry,
it's just been
I'll try to
title.
redundant.
Yep.
Proclamation, okay. So this proclamation of thanks to former clerk and recorder Patty Berger. I'll read the text in. Whereas Patty Berger, and also Cindy, and Tracy, I'll forward the text when we're done. Whereas Patty Berger has served as the clerk and recorder of Lake County for over 16 years, having been elected in 1994. Whereas Patty Berger has served the citizens of Lake County since 1987 in both the assessor's office and clerk and recorder's office. And whereas the county clerk and recorder is elected by the citizenry of Lake County to serve statutorily as the clerk to the Board of County Commissioners and recorder of deeds, and serves the Lake County community by handling motor vehicle titles, registrations, driver's license, liquor licenses, and sales taxes for the Colorado Department of Revenue. And whereas this office also serves as an agent for the Secretary of State of Colorado for voter registration and administration of elections, a function that has grown significantly in importance and complexity over Patty Berger's term in office. And whereas Patty Berger's conduct and administration of whereas Patty Berger's conduct and administration of her duties as clerk and recorder have been held in such esteem by the citizens of Lake County that she has secured re-election 6 times during her tenure. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of the County of Lake and the State of Colorado as follows. 1, that this board, on behalf of those present and past members of the Board of County Commissioners of Lake County, with whom Patty Berger has been associated throughout the years, expresses its deep appreciation for her years of service to the citizens of Lake County. 2, that this board wishes Patty Berger a rewarding and well-deserved retirement in which she may enjoy residing in the community which she served for over 4 decades. 3, that this resolution shall be properly recorded for posterity. I need to correct that this proclamation shall be properly recorded for posterity, and a copy hereof delivered to Patty Berger along with their regards and best wishes for the future. Passed and adopted at the regular meeting of the Board of County Commissioners this 17th day of January 2023.
Okay. Cindy, do you have anything to add?
No.
Okay. Sarah, Chris?
No, appreciate you working on that, Jeff.
Yeah.
That's-
I will-
Thank you for reading.
Yes, no problem.
Okay,
I don't know if we'd have to take formal motion on that, but I don't think so.
okay.
I don't think so. Yeah. Thank you for doing that. Thank you, Patty, for your years of service, and the opportunity to, start my career in public service. So I appreciate that.
Welcome, Tracy.
Yeah, welcome, Tracy. We're glad you're here. All right, thanks, Jeff, I appreciate it. Do you want me to? Sure.
So everyone's waiting upstairs, apparently the scheduling way off today. So I don't know.
Do you guys need to be here?
Well, yeah, if you wanna go up and read the proclamation of thanks for the
Adjourn from
undersheriff.
here.
What's that?
Adjourn from here, reconvene. Reconvene down here.
Yeah,
Okay, do we need to change, because we didn't change the,
Zoom.
yeah, okay,
Are there folks on Zoom up there as well, do you know?
okay,
but we can do the Zoom from my computer, I'll just bring everybody.
okay. So we're going to adjourn from this location and reconvene upstairs in 5 minutes, is that good? So that we can read this proclamation for Caleb Kramer. And then
I'll be back. I just have lots of
Yeah.
things. I'll be back.
Trying to accommodate
multiple
Sheriff's
scheduling.
Office request on this acknowledgement and swearing in of new deputies.
We will also, can we jump to agenda items 9 and 10, Chris, to do the citations of merit and thanks and swearing in of deputies upstairs as well? And then we will reconvene back down here after that.
I think you need to, someone needs to amend the agenda once again, though,
Sure.
to do that.
Okay.
So to, in order.
Sure. Okay, so do you want me to, I can do that.
Okay,
So I will make a motion that we amend the agenda to change the order of business today to accommodate scheduling of the courts. So I would like to move that we continue with item number 3, a proclamation of thanks to Under Sheriff Caleb Kramer, I'm sorry. And move items 9 and 10 up to items 4 and 5. So it'll be, number 4 will be citations of merit and thanks, led by Lake County Sheriff Pete Speckman. Number 5 will be the swearing in of Lake County deputies, led by Lake County Sheriff Pete Speckman. And then from there, we will come back down to this room and move into number 6, which is the consideration and discussion of an ordinance addressing multi-purpose use on county roads, consideration of a contract with Cloud City Conservation, the consideration of a lease agreement with St. Vincent Hospital District for space, and the marijuana renewal license for JEM Dutch Acres. Did you get all that, Cindy? And Tracy?
No, but there's a recording.
Yeah.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion?
none for me?
Okay, none, good?
No, thank you.
All right, so we will restart the Zoom upstairs. If you just want to stay on the Zoom, I think we can just carry your computer upstairs. Okay, so we will just reconvene in about 5 minutes, everyone.
Sorry for all the scheduling.
Okay.
Sure, so, we are in a formal meeting of the Lake County Board of County Commissioners, so we will reconvene this meeting today, at 3:49 P.M. Up next on our agenda is a proclamation to honor the service of Under Sheriff Caleb. So this is a proclamation to honor the service of Caleb Kramer as the Undersheriff of the Lake County Sheriff's Office. A proclamation of thanks for your service to Lake County. Whereas Caleb Kramer has served as the Undersheriff of the Lake County Sheriff's Office since being appointed on March 1st, 2022. And whereas Caleb Kramer has successfully guided the Lake County Sheriff's Office through leadership transitions in May of 2022 and through the November 2023 election. Whereas the Undersheriff is an integral role to the success of the Lake County Sheriff's Office and their ability to provide public safety to our community. Whereas Caleb Kramer's conduct and his abilities to be successful in his role as an Undersheriff have been proven through the smooth transition of leadership. Today, the Board of County Commissioners of the County of Lake of the State of Colorado here do proclaim that the board expresses its deep gratitude to Caleb Kramer being willing and able to step into the role as the Undersheriff, that this board acknowledges his leadership demonstrated by Caleb Kramer to successfully assist the Lake County Sheriff's Office through leadership transitions, and that this proclamation shall be properly recorded for prosperity and a copy hereto delivered to Caleb Kramer, along with regards for best wishes of the future. So Caleb, we just wanted to recognize you for taking on such a heavy burden and load of that transition in March that none of us were really expecting, but that we're really thankful that you stepped up to the plate and were able to help guide this department and keep it together as best you could until Sheriff Beckman was appointed. So thank you so much for your service. We are very grateful. So the next item on our agenda is citations of merit and thanks, and this agenda item will be led by Sheriff Heath Beckman, so we'll turn it over to you.
Thanks for your patience. Thanks for being here this afternoon. Wrote out a quick story. So on March 1st, 2022, I made a phone call. Question. And I received an answer. The next day, I woke up after a good night's sleep, with clear vision in my head and peace in my heart. I called each person in my team in and gave them the same script over and over again. The help I was taking was not allowed to trooper, the employee and political candidate, so I resigned within the hour. When I took the phone call from the dating house, I said, "I'm in, what do I do next?" He said, "I have a couple of nominations for Lake County Sheriff." So I did. And by that meeting, I was an official candidate for the sheriff. Now I know. In a part of the story, not to encourage this statement, but to encourage doing what is right, doing what is good, even if it is hard. Demonstrating that everybody in this room today, see that force of positive change that will work the rest of the week. I did not have to listen together to preach to everyone. Today is to say thank you to everyone who has come along the way. Today is also the start of a new era of public safety in Lake County. Not to bring the Mark first and second story to say, do not take those steps for me, my own glory, but for any egotistic allegiance. I have used my heart on March 2nd because I believe in this truth. I want to be part of the public change. Mine was simple, the path has been challenging, but the purpose makes it worth it. One of the politics for those who stepped out during my period of internship. To everybody who stepped out during the period of May 9th, through the 8th of November. During the period of 9 May 2022 to 8 November 2022, what president the Lake County Sheriff's Office Communication Center, Defensive Division, Control Division, and Administrative Section displayed exceptional meritorious service on Leadville and Lake County Public Safety Service. This team distinguished itself during a period of unprecedented leadership and personnel turmoil to reestablish cohesion and mission focused to provide full spectrum public safety service to the people of and visitors to Lake County, Colorado. The excellence of service was maintained despite the little minimum staffing level. In a period when public activity increased dramatically due to the end of the pandemic restrictions. During this period, individuals became a team. Staff that only would not have teams realistic. Leadership took on large overarching issues as a collaborative effort. The Communication Center initiated core download 606 calls for service, including 226 911 calls. The pension personnel processed 103 inmates into custody and conducted 158 transportations to different county jails across Colorado. The administrative section, South Lake served as a foundation for our logistical needs of approximately 121 civil cases. Control division with 5 full-time deputies and 1 part-time deputy on 2,000 ranging from civil legal registration paperwork to major felony criminal investigations. These individuals rose above expectations, human rights, and all safety and security measures necessary for the protection of the community. The performance of duty of this team is in keeping with the planned conditions of public safety service and reflects the same trend upon itself. Lake County leadership team, Lake County Sheriff's Office, Lake County and the state of Colorado. I think we're still beyond that. So just so you know, you weren't employed or you weren't going to process during that window, I'm still grateful for it. But start off with
Patricia Levy. Sarah Mudge. Steph Keeper. Caitlin McCoy. Catherine Terrell. Judge Jonathan Streeter. Ellie Garvey. John Stewart. Chris Floyd. Kayla Kramer. Anthony Weimer. Christine Chason. Renee Chris. Shelby Phillips. Joe Flores. Vicky Everett. Michael Romero. Luis Peralta. Jacobo Garcia. Sarah Williams. Delta Parsons. Anthony Gutierrez. Yeah, so, okay, the next item on our agenda today is the certification of deputies, which will be led by Sheriff Keith. So you're welcome to just.
I guess what we're gonna do this is the oath. This is the father. Sure. And so if you can all stand. And you can repeat after me, or at least the first thing in the eye, and the second is state your name to that sensation. That I will support the Constitution of the United States. And I will support the Constitution of the United States. And of the state of Colorado. and is the state of Colorado. Faithfully perform the duties of the office of Lake County Sheriff. And the state of the particular position they are in. I'm going to try to do something. Congratulations.
Sheriff, do you have anything else? Okay. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and adjourn or reconvene downstairs for the remainder of our agenda, but we just wanted to say congratulations to all of you. We're very excited to work with you. And just remind you that Sheriff Speckman is a great support, and Sam and the three of us are here to support you as well. So if there's anything you need, don't ever hesitate to come to ask or whatever it might be, because we worked really hard to cultivate a positive culture and teamwork here, and Sheriff Speckman has done the same. So we're really excited to embark on this journey as well. So congratulations.
All right, thank you everyone for your patience with us today. We are back and we are going to continue where we left off. So I think up next on our agenda is 5. The consideration and discussion of an ordinance addressing multi-purpose use on county roads. And
She's coming back. She
Okay.
said to run down
she's on her
to
way back
office.
in soon. Okay.
Right, can we do, I think Anne was gonna plan to do this, but just for all of our information, I think she's gonna run through, since I can't remember having passed an ordinance in the last 6 years.
No, I don't think we've done it.
Serving as a commissioner, so we're gonna go through, right now, we're gonna go through, the process, and then any other info we need in the timeline. I was just prefacing,
The
I needed
conversation.
a little bit of time here.
All that staff has done is present or furnish you and Chris with some draft documents based on information that we talked through at the work session. And so I should have ran up the stairs. So it's just the draft moratorium, which would not allow for any new outfitter and guide conditional use applications that within their operation are going to utilize county roads within the proposal, or any special use permits for commercial use during the moratorium period. It is drafted for an 8-month period in which we believe that that will give us time to really review future use and roadway use. And hopefully during that moratorium work, that there'll be a lot of work done on categorizing roads, coming up with a roadway use guide. I think through a lot of comments that we received and different information, I think sometimes, it's very easy to readily identify certain roads that just aren't appropriate. And so having a road use guide that's going to be a flexible tool that can be updated accordingly, I think will be a tool that we've never had before and will be really useful. So the way that what staff has presented is a series of tools to address the use. And so first there's the ordinance, which we do anticipate another revision to at the end of the moratorium. So right now, it's just to address our current situation. And then as we go through the work and determine where things are going to land, there will be a final iteration of it. But this is just at the front end of the work, and to really address some missing identified need of the existing ordinance. Specifically, there are more discussion in here about commercial, which was silent in the previous ordinance, which has largely been interpreted that as that it was prohibitive of commercial use. But this is providing more clarity about that, as well as providing more clarity about the ambiguous point A to point B, and really emphasizing that recreational vehicles should not be utilized for the same purpose that a primary vehicle is. Those are some of the big points that will be present in the ordinance at this point. It also identifies the need to have a local base of operation, whether that's in the county or the city, and that business be in good standing, whether it's with a conditional use permit or a business license. It also incorporates the special use permit that will look at the roads. So the ordinance is the first tool and first document that's been provided. The next is the work that's being done on conditional use permits and base of operations in the county. We added outfitter and guide to the code in about 16, I think. And at that time, there were some operations that were in existence, but largely we've been able to identify that either what they have done has changed or they have grown in their degree of use. So it's time to revisit any operators that have a base of operations in the county, that they are coming under conditional use permit. And so We did meet with High Country Tours, White Mountain Tours, looking to engage with Elk Mountain. We have had contact with that property owner on Sugarloaf Mountain where they operate, but we haven't had any deliberate conversations yet about moving into an application with them. So we'll be working on that.
And those three are because there's permitting and private land use currently in their operating structure.
Right, and because they're located in the county. And so we already have a regulation in place through the land development code, through the conditional use permit process, that we need them to come to compliance through. And so those are why we had direct conversations with those. We also recognize that we're going to be in the city and have the business license. And so the special use permit in instances like operations like that would then become relevant in the introduction of the series of tools that we are suggesting to the board. And so that brings up, and the thing about the conditional use permit is that it can dial down into each specific operation. So with the umbrella, with the ordinance, and then we have the specific tools. The conditional use permit can look at each individual operation and then review it based on the criteria already set in the code. And then the introduction of the special use permit will then come in and take those operations if they impact any county road use. And so the county road use can be regulated and specific to each individual operation. And the importance too of the special use permit is a leveling of the expectation that's set out for outfitter and guides who operate in the county with a conditional use permit. The special use permit can be an equalizing tool for city-based base of operations where they haven't gone through the same vetting under a conditional use permit, but the special use permit can come in and add that additional layer. So they all work, together, I think, to give the board, and then the road use guide, which we hope will be a very useful tool for a very long time and very flexible. So all of those working in conjunction with one another. The other hope is that the moratorium time will allow time to work with law enforcement about enforcement and any issues that we heard through the town hall meeting and public input. Also, maybe an opportunity for youth education and maybe even youth programs to support safe use and give some alternatives to maybe situations that might be occurring now. And then just future planning, making sure that identifying those impacts, and also in light of our preservation of lifestyle and culture that is important to the community, and looking for that balance on user groups within recreation as well. So I think that kind of wraps up the tools that staff has brought forward for consideration and review at this time. And then hoping that we would find out, do we need another work session? Would you like to have materials ready for a first reading of the ordinance and publication February 7th, or would that be more appropriate the second meeting in February and maybe having a work session in between? Just, wanting direction now for what makes sense, but having at least draft documents in proactively ahead of time so that we can start having a good review of those.
I wouldn't mind a work session in between. I think that would be really beneficial for, at least for myself, to be able to go over that with my colleagues and staff at the same time. So I would appreciate that, a work session, if we can do that.
I would appreciate that too. There's still, there's some sections in here that I still have some questions or recommendations that I don't see showing up.
Sure.
Yeah. Cool.
And I, well, sorry, I don't know if you want to
No,
answer
you're
that.
done.
No, I agree, and I also have some questions, like, would it be appropriate to do the moratorium on the 7th? And and work through our content of the ordinance.
For the next
in
meeting?
another work session or whatever for a following meeting.
Sure,
But
absolutely.
go ahead.
Oh, and this is a question about like the procedure as we actually get into the more formal like process on the ordinance is, I mean, so like I think there are some sections where there's some like language or like an alternate approach that I would like to put in, and so the question is what's the right way to capture that in like negotiations I've been in, like you can put like the different options in square brackets where the square brackets indicates that it's like not decided, and you can see like option A, option B, option C, and then you both have views on a paragraph. Is that a weird way of doing it in this setting, or like how if we have draft language that we would like to see in certain sections, how would you like to receive that, and where does it show up, or do I have to just keep bringing it?
No,
to every
no,
meeting?
I'd like this to be a working document that we provide editability for everyone so that you can identify, you'll have your own individual ability to show up with your comments and any, I want it to be a working document. Because
Okay.
it's not, there's nothing official about it, we're not gonna reference it yet, we're not.
So like, we can put it in the OneDrive and make edits to it. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We'll make that available in that format, so.
My suggestion would to have that available, let y'all do that before your work session. So
Right.
then you'll have the ability to discuss through those changes during your work session.
Yeah, that we make individually in the,
Yeah.
okay, I got that, okay.
And Anne, can you just go through that legal process, or Chris, on the ordinance?
In terms of the
Again, for,
timing,
yes,
and
just
stuff
the
on it? So-
timeline and procedurally.
yeah, and so once you get, and I'm gonna presume the next step would be you get your comments in on the documents, you have your work session, then you set the first meeting for the first reading of it. Before you can actually present it for adoption, it has to be published at least 10 days in advance. So my recommendation would be whatever comes out of that work session should go in and be published in the Herald Democrat and on the website for the public to be able to review and have comments on before, and then your next meeting would need to be 10 days after that. That makes sense. And I don't know how that falls on the calendar right now.
Yeah,
the way
I'm
your
not sure.
meetings are scheduled too.
It might be it
And-
sounds like it's probably gonna be the second meeting of
And
February.
one of the reasons for that is if you could get it published as soon as possible, the second, once you get to the point where you want to adopt it, you want that 30-day publication period to already be running. And so that way you don't have to tag on another 30 days after the draft is presented.
Isn't it, for county, isn't it 10 days publication, but 30 days till it goes?
Till it
into
goes
effect?
into effect, yes, that's what I'm saying, so that, but it's 30 days from the publication of the original notice.
Gotcha.
Okay, so our original notice would probably notice our first reading and
The
our,
first reading,
and our
yes.
hearing for
So-
adoption, because the second reading is the hearing, the public comment, and final
Adoption.
Adoption,
consideration.
yes. And then it would be whatever time is left after that for your 30-day period that would go into effect, because this is not something that's of an emergent nature where it needs to take
Do you have
effect
a
immediately.
phone checker?
Because that's the only exception to it, that you have to provide the basis for it to be emergent.
Yeah.
It's a sensitive public safety issue or something to that effect, if you want it to take effect before that 30-day period, notice period runs.
So I think, so make sure that I'm on the same page with everyone. So between now and February 7th, we will have it in OneDrive where everyone can provide comments, and then we'll have all of those to bring into the work session on February 7th. And the result of that meeting, we could go ahead and make reference to it by title, and staff after that meeting could submit it to the newspaper for publication that Thursday after the Tuesday meeting, so 7th and 9th. Tentatively, if that ends up, working for everyone, we would take in comments on draft documents, share edits between now and the 7th, discuss those and come up with a final draft on the 7th that we would reference, well, not final draft, excuse me, but we would come up with a draft at that point that we could reference by title, and we would have to have it in its entirety for publication on Thursday.
Right.
Okay.
Is that actually the timeline you would like? Because that's
what I-
not
I know,
the
what I
first
said.
timeline that you set out.
It's not it's not.
That was
so
not
it's
the first thing you laid out.
I would prefer the second meeting in February, right?
And so the first, it's just a work
So
session.
some,
general.
but not even on the 7th necessarily, because that's our
Okay.
next regular meeting.
Yeah.
Okay,
So sometime between now and the second
Meeting
meeting in February,
okay,
we can set that work session. Once we've got the document out and people have added to it. So yet to be determined, but I'm curious, are we going to have the moratorium on the 7th? Because it seems to me that we can.
Yes, you
Do
could
that
proceed
on
with
the
that
7th.
part of it, yes, because that's not, in terms of you're not adopting the other parts of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So did that make sense?
That makes
That
sense.
makes sense to me.
That makes sense to me. I'm
Okay.
good with that.
We're gonna do the moratorium on February 7th.
Yes.
and
And we'll do a work
draft,
session after that, so,
Or before or after that.
yeah. Need a work session before the 7th?
for the moratorium,
No, for the
No.
other drafts, and so you want to, I just didn't know in terms of the time frame how quickly you want to move forward with this.
I mean, maybe you could make that call, like when you see all our comments and see how far apart some of them are, or how problematic some of them are.
that sounds great. I would say if we could avoid the week of the 13th, just because we've got a lot of development review that week, and then we're goal setting with the department and the board that week, or setting priority, on the 15th of February, and then 13th is the Lentil 7, so we'll have a lot of going on that week, so, and that would be, but that's the week before your regular meeting, right?
Right, we could.
So say, yeah, you could do, as Mr. Fiegler said, it depends on, what the comments and stuff are. And also too, there's nothing, you can continue to work on the drafts between now and then.
Okay.
Because there might be
So
questions and
then-
comments and stuff that come up that staff can answer for
Individually,
you.
yeah.
And maybe tentatively have a goal to have a work session on the books between now and the first meeting in February. Would that be
Yeah.
helpful for you all in your scheduling
Yeah,
and
I
like
think that if
agenda or workload? That gives two weeks from now till January 31st. A third week till February 7th.
right, yeah, I think that's adequate time to, kind of take those again, because I anticipate everyone's gonna have those pretty quickly. And so I don't think that's gonna take a long time to go through. So, yeah, if we were looking at something, knowing that we don't have any meetings hitting, I even think like the end or the very beginning of February on either that Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday.
Okay.
For a work session.
That should work.
That's-
Okay.
You said the January 30th?
No,
No,
the February 1st, 2nd, or 3rd.
yeah.
Is that the fun?
I thought we
That
had
Thursday.
something scheduled for the 3rd.
Wouldn't give you time to.
Third, I have a Forest Health Council.
That's what I was gonna say, yeah, you aren't gonna, yeah.
And there's a Fire Management Board meeting at 1.
Because we were gonna discuss fire department budget
Mhm.
that day, right? On the
Mhm.
3rd.
For
That afternoon, but we could do,
So the 2nd would be possibly that Thursday, because as Tracy just pointed out, if it is something that you'd want to get that 10-day publication part going before the second meeting, if you will, then in order to get it
Is
into
that
Herald in
event
time.
with Dallas on the 2nd? For just you?
Well, yeah, you guys sprinkled in, so we need to post moratorium in the Herald.
No,
No.
the proposed ordinance, yeah.
Alright,
I think on the 2nd, there's just the CLT group in the afternoon. So,
There's this Dallas is booked all day on that day too. February 2nd? Oh geez, no, yeah.
I don't see that, but
That might be just for Tim, too.
Or we can do
The morning.
the morning of the first.
yeah, I think that could work.
Okay.
What time?
Or early, like
Is
up
that
until
what you
1
did?
o'clock. That would be.
On Thursday? Yeah.
No,
I-
Wednesday.
Wednesday the
Oh.
first.
Anything before, ending before or at 1 or earlier?
Oh, yeah, I'm good with that.
So Wednesday.
At,
What is this airborne snow measurement
9?
work group?
is that,
Sure.
It's the avalanche.
Oh, I have no idea why that's on my calendar, as my invite.
so what time did y'all land on for that Wednesday?
no, I
Do you
have
want to do
nothing.
9 o'clock on February 1st?
Sure.
But
On February 1st.
Yes.
Okay, will you send an invite?
Yep.
Okay,
Right now.
cool. Gracias.
All right, so we all should get comments to you in the next 2 weeks at least.
Yes.
Hopefully before that.
If you, Ann, do you want me to put it in OneDrive? Is that
Oh, yeah,
everything that
sure.
you sent today?
Yep, that's everything, yep, that'll be right there, that's awesome, I did it on my power cord.
Sure.
So all comments would be due by the 31st, is that what you're proposing?
I think so,
That
yeah.
would be great.
Okay, let's do that.
And a little earlier is nice.
Yeah.
31st is, so we could digest them a little bit, so.
Why don't we say then, did we say the 27th?
Yeah, I like the 27th, that goes, so that sounds good to everyone.
That's the one you sent yesterday.
Yes.
I'll send an invite to you all. And I'm just including you in this. Okay, we're good. All right. Do we feel like we're ready to move to our next agenda item?
I think so. I don't have any other questions for you on procedure or anything.
I don't either.
Okay.
Did we miss anything?
I don't think we did.
Alright.
I feel pretty good about that. Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you guys.
Okay, next is consideration of a contract with Cloud City Conservation Center to perform energy efficiency and energy assistance programs in Lake County in the amount of $10,000. Jeff, you're the lead, so I'm gonna hand it to you.
Yeah, I think this is pretty quick. It's really just, as we discussed during the budget sessions, we're moving from having the county contribution to C4's work be a lump sum to being something that has more clearly specified work products. And that's sort of mutually agreed between us and C4. And for us, it gives us more clarity on what we're getting for the taxpayers' contribution, and for C4, it gives them clearer guidance on what we want them to be doing with our contribution. So again, it's really just the contract is just at this the step towards providing greater clarity for everyone
Okay,
in that move, towards more contract-based rather than open-ended contribution-based approach to working with them?
I don't have any questions personally. I have sat on a lot of grant committees regarding the energy assistant program, and so I feel like I have a pretty comprehensive understanding of the program, and I don't have questions, and I'm glad that C4 is providing this service. So, Sarah, do you have any questions on that?
I do, well, I don't necessarily have a question on the agreement, and I'm struggling to find it now in my files, I apologize.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, I was just at, was there one circulated
No.
for this?
No.
There was
Okay,
not.
okay, cool.
It's basically, it's similar to the zero waste contract we did. Sorry, I had it pulled up, but it takes 20 steps to get Google back open. Essentially turning these energy assistance programming that C4 does in the community into a contract to meet energy efficiency goals. And that's also whether it's manufactured home rehab to energy assistance in the winter to energy efficient appliances for folks to get, all that kind of stuff.
I'm really curious to see the numbers from C4 of who they are currently serving and are reaching, because I would love to include in their contract some kind of requirement of like maybe getting an X percentage or X number of folks working with Harry Beck in the Veteran Services, working with Judy Main at the senior center. If she connects with folks in one mobile home park or outlying neighborhood more than others, why is that happening?
Yeah.
And can we spread that across other neighborhoods and subdivisions? I would love to even, I think we kind of have this conversation ongoing and sort of in a less formal agreement to be had with St. George's as far as contributing to their food service too. And I would love to make sure that C4 is reaching everyone or anyone that participates and utilizes St. George's. So I think that is maybe a lot, and I'm not exactly sure how to frame that. So I wonder, at the risk of tabling this,
Is there a scope of
again,
work or
like,
something
can
like
we,
that?
Yeah,
can we incorporate that into the existing scope and or get Emily's like feedback on what that looks like? And
Yeah,
Yeah, because I would suggest or make a recommendation that based on legal review,
yeah,
because we can edit the job scope of work. It's very simple, similar to the zero waste one.
Yeah.
okay.
It takes me a long time to look at Google. Send me a code.
Okay.
But
Okay,
no,
so
but I think that makes a ton of sense, and I mean, just from talking with C4, I don't think they'd be reluctant to, yeah, they'd love to come talk to us about,
Yeah.
or, give us some stats.
yeah, and even how much, I start from what pot of money they have and how much work that could do, and I wonder, chatting with the housing authority and folks, do we have people whose homes are in real disrepair and could use like really big improvements and maintenance?
That is absolutely something they run into all the time, is, you have like $1,000 to, or not even that, to fix like a leaking hot water heater, and you go in and you're like,
Oh, we need to
like,
replace
what if your
X,
whole
Y, and Z.
subfloor is rotted out and there's a hole in your roof? Like, but hey, there's a new hot water heater.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So
Okay.
doing more of that larger scope of, or
I would love to see too, like the collection of that assessment or conditions in the outreach and the actual services provided to folks, because Harry Beck at the Veteran Services has similar pot of money to draw from for veterans specifically. And I think there's things that we might be missing out on through the COG and whatnot, that we could layer and really, I want to address big issues,
Mhm.
and I'm making a maybe huge presumption of, even looking at like more elderly folks in the community who physically can't do that
Yeah.
work and can't afford to hire people and or physically assess their own physical house. So I would
Well, I
love to
think that's-
expand that, see how we can
That's
layer.
part of housing initiatives too, is keeping people in their homes.
Absolutely,
Right, and
yeah.
keeping their homes safe.
Yeah.
So that would be a good idea too, yeah. So do you think we should table this till till we review the scope of work, or what would be,
Up to you guys.
Table,
okay,
till
Yeah.
we get,
And we
That's
can
fine.
draft like a reporting
metric,
clause or metric
Like a log,
in
yeah.
there, yeah.
okay,
I mean, it could also be, we could all, yeah, so yeah, let's table it and have that discussion of whether it's like something super clearly specified with some reporting metrics, or if it's more, we could start treating them as like a department where we sort of have, try to have at least once a year check-in,
yeah,
as the BOCC.
yeah,
Um,
or semi-annual,
Yeah,
maybe, so it's not
yeah, I mean, yeah.
so much information at one time, but,
Mhm.
okay. Okay, so we'll
Yeah.
table that,
And Tim and I have sort of like a standing, sometimes gets postponed, but like a standing check-in with Emily and
Cool.
Melissa, so we can try to talk this through in just a regular meeting.
okay.
Does delaying it hold, I should know, is delaying it gonna hold up anything on there? And I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. I mean, the programming's kind of already started.
it's ongoing, isn't it?
Right,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah.
ongoing, so it's this, the county contributes $40,000 a year to C4, so we've taken 10,000 of that and turned it into a contract for zero waste. And then we would take another 10,000 of that and turn it into a contract for energy assistance, and energy efficiency programs. Then that other 20K is more, for their operational,
Okay,
non-grant reimbursable work. Administrative.
cool.
Great, and I guess if we could ask Emily what other layering, like funding could be layered that she knows of, and then we can figure out too, we can reach out to the COG and ask those questions in veteran services.
Yeah.
So that we can really kind of develop.
Well, I think there's more money out there too for
Plan.
veteran services, if we have a
and
plan for it.
Maybe DHS, I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
'Cause,
Like even URA programming, right? Like I don't think there's any specific programming that's been proposed, but that was talked about a long time ago.
Okay,
Like improvements on some things, but I don't know if that's specific to, that's probably more of a public safety and public benefit.
yeah,
But I know like the Denver Urban Renewal Authority does like those really smaller loans or loans with really small interests, so
yeah,
it must be a possibility potentially, if there's an overlap, especially with folks aging in place or veteran services.
and I think we can talk about that when we have some of those work sessions with DHS, yeah, Tim?
Yes, yeah, I guess potentially for both of them.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Okay, consideration of a lease agreement with St. Vincent Hospital District for space for Lake County Public Health Agency. This is a renewal of the space that we currently
Yes, it is.
utilize from the hospital.
In fact, it's the exact same lease as was signed last year with just an increase in the rent. That's all they did.
What's the increase in that?
That's why I was trying to see what
I think it's
an addition, well, the,
400 a month or-
yeah, I think it's an increase of 400, but it's the annual $47,700 with monthly installments of $3,975.
Okay,
And that is split with county bill generation.
okay.
So that cost is split with bill generation? I couldn't
They're
remember
both in,
what that was.
public health and reg
Right.
absorb it in their budgets. Was a last on deal, the interim CEO at St. Vincent and I, to not have a large increase.
Okay.
What, if the hospital's future is in question, what happens to us? Do we need to find new space for public health, or how does
I
that?
think we negotiated to take that building.
Well, I was gonna say, yeah, in that, in terms of, this, typically these type of lease agreements, if, after they were in bankruptcy or something like that, they'd be considered in terms of that, especially if you've got a tenant, and if they're obviously, it's not gonna be a liquidation, bankruptcy, but a workout, so it
Okay.
would probably just be continued on through that.
Okay. Just curious for.
Yeah. But if they did seek to sell the building, then typically it would be sold subject to any existing lease agreements.
Okay. Sounds good. I don't have any other questions, no.
I don't think I have any other questions here.
Yeah, nothing for me.
Thank you. All right, I'll move to approve the lease agreement with St. Vincent's Hospital District for space for the Lake County Public Health Agency.
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
No, thank you.
All right, seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Up next is a renewal license for JEM Dutch Acres LLC. So Cindy and I have been working on this for a little while. The applicant, JEM Dutch Acres, prepares the renewal application and sends the renewal application to the state, but the Board of County Commissioners has to approve the marijuana facility at JEM Dutch Acres. So Cindy does have the payment for that license, which they submit to the Department of Revenue.
Yes.
Along with a letter of approval, if you guys would approve it. Yes, to let the state know that the marijuana facility has been locally approved by our board. So,
And there's usually no change in operations or expansion because they were essentially grandfathered in with the
yeah,
decision at one point to not offer any marijuana licensing, so.
He said that they're possibly closing down the one on County Road 1940. But he's not positive, so we still have to conclude that one.
okay, so we include it in this application, but if there are changes, can we?
Change the boundary, isn't there like a boundary that we have to approve or something?
I don't know for sure.
Okay, well, maybe we can take a look.
Yeah, that's another thing we have to learn.
I can tell you that any changes that go through the city have to be approved through the licensing board.
Okay, okay,
Any change, I mean, you move a door, they have to.
okay. Okay.
Okay, well, maybe you can help us make sure that we are following exactly the processes that we.
I might be able to help with that.
Thanks.
Thanks, Tracy.
But for now, yeah, this appears to be just a renewal and, no change.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll move to approve the license for Gem Dutch Acres LLC.
Oh, sorry, there's any more to that sentence.
Oh, sorry,
I'll
yeah,
second.
sorry, I left that on it.
All right, just want to say thanks, Cindy, for swimming through that and trying to figure out where to go and those kinds of things. I appreciate you taking that on. No further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay.
And I'll vote to approve bills and payroll for the pay period ending on December 30th, 2022.
Okay.
Second.
Any further discussion?
No thanks.
All right. Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay.
Move to approve the Veterans Affairs report, for November 2022.
Second.
Any further discussion?
None for me.
Okay. Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 I'll move to approve the treasurer and public trustee report for the fourth quarter of 2022.
Second.
All right, seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. So with that, that's all we've got. Thank you everyone for joining us, and we will adjourn today at 4:48 PM.